and they took me to these old missile sites where they're building the underground condominiums. That hit mainstream a couple months ago, that indeed it's happening, and it's this and that, and you can buy into them. I think for 1.3 million, you can have a condominium, and we covered that in the show years ago. So I'm sitting back laughing, going, you know, conspiracy theory really was ahead of its time, wasn't it?
And that's a problem they have, Jesse. Again, Governor Jesse Ventura joins us. Looking at this whole situation, we see CNBC, MSNBC getting rid of a bunch of their crew. MSNBC, CNN's ratings are literally collapsed. It's non-existent from their great days. Fox is slumping as well, but not comparatively. But mainstream media itself is in decline while alternative new media is exploding. What do you expect the establishment's move to be? Well, obviously, they're going to try to censor the internet, and they've got experts in the news today saying this new FCC takeover of the web to, quote, protect it, will totally screw it up and bring censorship, Governor.
Well, and that's what we've got to fight against. The way they ought to do it is they should move their shows over to the internet and let those that want to see them see them. You know, ultimately, everything comes down to the public's choice. I remember when there used to be all the talk on censorship and what kids should see when I was governor and what they shouldn't see. And I remember always telling people, there's something called the on-off switch, and there's something called you can change the channel.
That's right.
And ultimately, that's what it comes down to, is personal responsibility and personal viewership. If mainstream media is not delivering what the public wants and needs, the public's going to look other places for it, and you would think they would adapt. So the adaptation has to come from them because, as you said, Alex, we're winning. We're gaining and we're winning. And so they've got to adapt to it. Now, if they do it the honest way, they'll get into our type of media and try to win people over. Or they'll do it the dishonest way, and that is paying off the politicians, legislating, and bringing the government into it to censor us. So I kind of vote they'll make the move to the second alternative, not the first one, although they should take the first option first.
Undoubtedly. I mean, it's now here, bipartisan, Republicans and Democrats working together from internet to ObamaNet. And we've got the former FCC chief saying he's shocked by Fed's attempts, the article's on screen, to regulate internet. The order goes far beyond protecting net neutrality. What a perfect cover, though. Say you're going to protect net neutrality that most of us support, keeping it open and free, but then actually using it to bring in SOPA and CISPA style controls.
See, Alex, you know how I saw through that? They have already got plenty antitrust laws on the books. All they have to do is apply laws that existed before the internet. Antitrust laws were here before the internet. All they don't need to pass any new controls. Just apply antitrust laws to the internet. Don't let one or two corporations take it over in a monopoly. It's no different than any other business out there.
Well, Jesse, that's what they always do.
Pass these new laws. They've got laws in place, Alex.
Well, you know that trick as a former mayor and then a governor of a major state, where they won't fill the potholes and then they'll demand more taxes to fix that when they just wasted a huge budget. It's the exact same thing. They say ISIS and Al-Qaeda are allowed to recruit on Facebook and Twitter, so pass laws to censor everybody's free speech. Well, I get censored on Facebook and Twitter for just peaceful speech. Your TV shows have been erased off TiVo and off Time Warner. You've been openly censored. I've been openly censored. They've censored Navy SEALs families questioning the official story of their deaths in the bin Laden raid. So they're already censoring stuff that shouldn't be censored. So these claims that we need new laws to stop ISIS recruiting, they're letting ISIS recruit. I want to segue into that. You were on a year ago, 2 years ago, every time you've been on. And you can go back to the internet if you want first. And you talked about how it's a false flag. They're funding ISIS. They're funding Al-Qaeda. This is all staged. It's going to be a wider war. Now, again, that's all official. We're being told brace for the malls to be attacked, a Mall of America where you're from up there in Minneapolis, St. Paul. And then Jay Johnson says, or give me more funding, I can keep you safe. How transparent does that have to get?
Well, the whole thing, I'll go back into history. Let's go back to the Iraq War and put blame where it belongs, which is what you never hear out of our country. One thing about the United States you can bank on and take it home. we will never admit to a mistake. We will never admit that we made the wrong move. And the wrong move I'm talking about was the original invasion of Iraq. Going back to that, do you think for 1 minute ISIS would exist today if Saddam were alive? Do you think ISIS would exist if Gaddafi were alive?
No.
Those countries over there can only survive having a dictator, someone with a powerful position to keep the peace and keep everything in line. The United States invades the country, Gaddafi gets taken out, we take out Saddam. It throws the whole thing into unrest. It throws the whole thing up into the wind, which I have to believe, Alex, was their intention. They wanted to make the Middle East unstable.
By the way, Wesley Clark just came out. I don't know if you've seen this clip down in Mexico. It just came out 2 days ago. In fact, try to cue it up, guys, for later. He said that Western governments are behind a destabilization campaign, and he's basically seen the documents, just like he exposed the 7-country plan that they plan to invade.
Yeah, no, I can't believe that this isn't all part of a grand master plan to keep the place unstable so that we will be at perennial war.
That's right.
And the only way to keep us at perennial war is to bring the war home with these threats that ISIS is going to attack us in America. They're going to attack us in America, so therefore we need to fight them over there. To me, it goes back to Smedley Butler. War is a racket, and we're involved in the biggest racket of all right now, and that's these wars in the Middle East. We can solve them all. ISIS won't be a problem. Let's do what Ronald Reagan did. Let's do what Ronald Reagan did when the car bomb attacked the Marines in Lebanon and killed 100 brave Marines over there. Did Ronald Reagan go to war? No. Ronald Reagan got the hell out of there.
Yeah, let people kill each other. That's not our issue.
Well, today it's called cutting and running. Ronald Reagan, the pinnacle of the Republican Party, cut and ran. But I agree with Ronald Reagan. He made the right decision. Let's make the right decision and get the hell out of there. Let them decide for themselves who's going to govern who over there. It's so unstable now. It's a regional thing, and we got no business over there, Alex.
Well, the plan is destabilization, just like Ukraine. It's the same global chessboard. You know, you've read Brzezinski's book, Grand Chessboard. They admit this whole plan. That's what's so incredibly frustrating about that. But expanding on this, speaking of propaganda wars, you have spoken out, and I'd like you to elaborate on it. I don't know if you've seen American Sniper yet, but I know you've read the book. For those that don't know.
No. The only part of that book I've read is my chapter. I didn't need to read anymore. Mine was completely fabricated, and I didn't care to read anymore. I have not seen the movie, and I've only read one chapter of the book.
Well, the movie, from what I know, I mean, and from what's admitted, is largely cobbled together truths and half-truths, and then outright fabrications. It's
Hollywoodized. You know, they do it with a purpose. Like I put it into the best quote, I think, Alex. I said, it's a propaganda movie with the same, and it's as authentic as Dirty Harry.
Well, I know you're a big fan because a lot of times when we're hanging out, we've talked about. But you've told me you're a fan of Clint Eastwood.
Sure.
I mean, has this changed your view, or do you just think Clint thought it was a neat book and wanted to make a war movie?
You know, I don't know what Clint. You know, Clint's in the business to make movies. That's what he does. It disappointed me that Clint did it, but you know, it's not my. You know, Clint's going to do what he wants to do. But the point I make about it being Dirty Harry is this: Dirty Harry's a fabrication. You know, you can't go to San Francisco and look up Dirty Harry Callahan in their police and see that he was a police officer there, because he wasn't. And that's the point I made about the movie and the fact that Clint directed it. So it's a propaganda movie with as authentic as Dirty Harry, which means it's not authentic at all.
Absolutely, right down to fake babies. Expanding on that, would you have been upset if they would have thrown in you getting beaten up in the movie?
That was one of the reasons it forced me into court. People need to understand this, that they would not talk about restoring my reputation in the 4 official settlement conferences we had, the others, the Kyle side immediately stated, we won't admit to fabrication and we will do nothing to restore your reputation. We will only talk money. I refused because this trial for me was not about money. It was about the truth and restoring my reputation. So they forced me to go to court. And yet mainstream media portrayed it, Alex, as you know, I was going after the widow and the children of the war hero. And you know what I'd like to say, Alex? Let's have fun with this for a moment. Let's go back, because I know you understand history well. And I'll quiz you on this. This will be a good one. Let's go back to the late 30s, early 40s when Nazi Germany invaded Poland, right?
Yes.
Okay, let's go back to there. They invade Poland, they overthrow its government, they occupy them. During the occupation, they also torture Polish people, right? The
yes.
Nazis. Now, if a Nazi soldier during this invasion and occupation were to have killed 150 or 160 Polish people, a Nazi sniper, would that sniper be viewed as a hero?
By the Nazis he would, but not by the Allies.
Okay, just wanted to hear your opinion on that. So in other words, a hero is in the eye of the beholder. So people of the United States are comfortable with the fact that we invaded a country, we occupied that country, and we tortured the people of that country. And during all of this, some of our women and men in the military doing their jobs killed vast amounts of people in that country. That makes them heroes?
Well, I'll say this. What would Americans do if we got invaded by a foreign army?
Yes.
We would fight back, and we
Alex.
would be called terrorists.
And we would be called insurgents, and we'd be terrorists, and we'd be all, yeah, good point, Alex. What would happen hypothetically? That's phenomenal. If the United States were invaded and somebody from the invading side killed 150 of us, would that person be considered a hero?
Well, it's just the classic cowboy story of the Texan out there, fighting, wanting to do it, for his country, but not happy about killing people. We know from Kyle's own statements that he loved it. So that's my problem. Eastwood should have shown him, calling him, ragheads and all these other racist terms. They should have shown him getting off on it. They should have shown all that and shown the real thing, not the other thing. And what's sad here is Saudi Arabia, we now know, quarterback 9/11. We go attack their enemy, Iraq. Iraq didn't do anything. And so that's what makes this so evil. Jesse, go ahead.
Yeah, exactly. I agree with you, Alex. When I made this statement, I think I said it on Alan Combs's radio show. As a veteran, they destroyed my American dream with Iraq because I never believed in my heart. And my mother and father were both WW2 vets. And I never believed in all my heart that I would see the United States line up our military at another sovereign nation's border, lie to us, giving us reasons why they should go in, that we would invade a country, overthrow its government, and occupy the country. And then worst of all, torture people. And then nobody in this country will admit that what we did in Iraq was so wrong.
Jesse Ventura, stay there. We're back in 70 seconds.
Thank you for listening to GCN. Visit GCNlive.com today.
The month of February is all about Valentine's Day. Big heart-shaped boxes filled with delicious candy. What if we, the Patriots, hijacked Valentine's Day and instead made it about human liberty and individual empowerment? I'm all about human potential. I'm all about the individual being empowered. The establishment is the opposite. That's why they spike our water with fluoride and GMO, estrogen mimickers, and the rest of the garbage. InfoWars is striking back in the month of February with Human Empowerment Month. How we can come together and win the human race. And to celebrate the kickoff of Human Empowerment Month, we're slashing prices on InfoWarsLife.com products like Super Male and Super Female Vitality. The sale is only running for the month, 20% off, and there's a lot of other powerful specials at InfoWarsLife.com. InfoWarsLife.com, celebrating human potential in the month of February. Visit InfoWarsLife.com to find this special and many others in the month of February. Again, InfoWarsLife.com or 888-253-3139.